Nothing in this recording is intended as investment advice, and the people in this recording may hold positions in the companies they talk about. Do not make any investment based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to Zach's Traders Cafe. Today I'm joined by Keith Bodnarchuk, who's President and CEO at Kosa Resources. How are you today, Keith?
I'm doing very well, Zach.
Right. Kosa Resources, Canadian mineral exploration company based in Vancouver, British Columbia. It's currently focused on the exploration of uranium and copper, but you can tell us more, I hope.
Yeah, for sure. We are a uranium exploration company. Our focus is uranium, and our projects are located in the Athabasca Basin in Saskatchewan, Canada. For those not familiar, the Athabasca Basin is home to the highest grade and best uranium deposits in the world. It's home to the largest uranium mines in the world, and it's really an area with what's been happening in the uranium space where it's been a focus for a lot of companies to start heading to this area of Saskatchewan, Canada, to really start exploring for uranium. We are a new story somewhat, but we're led by a team with a track record of success and discoveries in the Athabasca Basin, specifically in Saskatchewan, Canada. Our background stems to NextGen Energy, ISO Energy, Denison Mines. These are three companies, with values well north of 500 million to a couple $1 billion that are really backed, where their value is really backed by discoveries of a uranium deposit in the Athabasca Basin in Saskatchewan, Canada. And so, we were involved with a couple of those discoveries, and we're looking to do that again with Kosa Resources. And so, like I said, we are a new story, but we are a team that has done this multiple times, and we're a team that has really created a lot of value for shareholders over the past, 15 years. And the assets we currently have, like I said, we are a newer company, but we managed to piece together exploration projects ahead of this uranium rush, right? You've seen a lot of attention go towards the uranium space, and that's really picked up over the past year. But we managed to piece together a good land package, which is over 200,000 hectares, all 100% owned, in great areas of the Athabasca Basin. We managed to piece that together ahead of the rush, and we're looking to explore that actively here over the next few months. We just finished our inaugural drill program, I guess, as a company. And we did have some interesting success, and we're looking to build off that heading into August.
Right. So basically, you've been there, done that already. You built up small companies into big companies. We're in the middle of a uranium gold rush. If that's not mixing too many metaphors. It's hotter than July at the moment for that space. And I suppose the main thing these days is that investors, I suppose in the last year or two, they've become a bit gun shy about like funding big mining projects and things like that. And obviously you can't get from A to B without somebody stumping up the cash. What is the sort of the runway that you've got? What's the trajectory that you're thinking of, from getting from A to B exploration and then getting up to hopefully a $500 million company plus or whatever it is? Is your sort of, your project or projects, are they something which, could be, world class or just decent size, or how does that work?
Yeah, for sure. So I think, that is the kind of the high risk, high reward aspect of exploration, is that unknown of when you ultimately make that discovery. Our previous company, ISO Energy, we managed to do it quite quickly as a company, and our share price reflected that. We went from 30 cents all the way up to $6.50 in not a uranium boom. Because we did hit the Hurricane deposit, which is the highest grade deposit in the history of the Athabasca Basin. And so, that is the great unknown as far as, how quickly you can hone in on these deposits. We have pieced together a land package. Ursa would be our top priority project, where we think it has all those same key ingredients that you look for when you find these deposits. And so, I probably can't answer when we'll ultimately have that success, but like I said, we do have a group that has done it multiple times. And I think importantly, each time we've become more efficient, and we've learned from each past success we've had, and we look to apply it, to Kosa and Kosa's strategy. And, I think a good thing that with our team is obviously there's a level of passion, and that treasure hunting aspect of going after these deposits, but also we know when we're not close to something, right? We know when to kind of drill it and kill it and move on to something else, because that's what happens in this junior space. Is like you said, it is difficult to access capital, and so you have to be as efficient as possible. And having our team, having seen multiple deposits and and really been around a lot of the success over the past 15 to 20 years, we do, I think, have an edge over our peers, where we are able to tell, hopefully when we're getting close to something, or importantly when we're not, and can kind of save our budgets and save our dollars to use elsewhere.
Right. And so, as I was alluding to before, the markets, obviously you're in Canada, you're TSXV, and
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting to, to see a company. I normally obviously speak to London companies, but you did present here in London. You're trying to deliver the message about your company. As far as the rating of the company at the moment, presumably you're suffering the same micro cap, small cap malaise that most peep exploration companies are suffering at the moment. Do you think that presents actually people with a decent opportunity, just because of so across the board undervalue that there is at the moment?
Yeah, for sure. I think, a lot of the uranium juniors, even though the price of uranium has gone up and really remains steadily above $80 US per pound, the juniors continue to sell off. Majority of them are down 30 to 50% over the past 6 months. And I think you hit the nail on the head that is the opportunity. I think when you're staring at something confused as to why the value is what it is, that's when the actual opportunity is staring you right in the face. And that's what it feels like we're at right now, where during previous uranium booms, it was the juniors over the last 18 months of those booms that outperformed, say, a Cameco by 10 times. And so the initial leg happened of this uranium boom. That's where you saw the developers and miners really kind of feel that first, I guess, value accretive or the share price bump. And, the capital hasn't trickled down to the juniors yet. And so when it finally does, the good thing with uranium is, relative to gold and other things like that, is there's only a few names that you'll want to invest in, right? The pool is not that big of companies that you'd be looking to invest in relative to gold, where there'd be hundreds of, even thousands of names, possible. And so I think that's what's unique about uranium. I think there's also a different aspect to it too, where everybody says, okay, this is kind of the junior market right now. The price of copper moved, the price of gold also moved, and you saw the junior companies actually not go up. But I think uranium's unique in the sense that, it's sitting at $80 right now, and you wouldn't even have to blink an eye for it to go to $160, right? The believability that's going to double here in the near future is much stronger than, I'd say, to those other commodities. And like I touched on, the pool of companies to choose from is much smaller. So I think, as the tailwinds continue in this uranium space, you will see an eventual re-rate of these junior companies, and it will be quick and it will be strong when it eventually does happen.
The other question, obviously, I was talking about, investors being gun shy about funding big projects, or sometimes any projects. Is what's the lay of the land in terms of your funding window? How far can your current funding get you, etc.?
Yeah, so currently we're fully funded for our 2024 exploration program, which will be drilling here in August. Any junior company, the biggest catalyst remains drilling. If you are ultimately able to get good drill results, hence, our past company, when we worked with IsoEnergy, we obviously, you saw what happened with our valuation based off drilling results and not the uranium market itself. So we're fully funded for 2024. We can carry that into 2025 if need be. So we're in good shape, treasury wise, cap structure wise. We've managed to keep it tightly held. Like I said, we just have under 57 million shares outstanding, and that's an important note to remember. Our previous company, IsoEnergy, when you go from 30 cents to $6.50, that was obviously on the back of amazing drill results, but is also on the back of a tight cap structure. And, we've managed to replicate, a similar tight cap structure with this company. And that can really allow your share price to really torque if you do have success, or if there is, tailwinds in the uranium space.
Yeah. And so the summer probably will reveal all, because that's, I suppose, when you're going to be most busy. And I suppose we'll get results towards the what we call the autumn here, and we call it the fall there. But that kind of thing, is that what we're looking at the moment?
Yeah. So over the next few months, I'd watch for us announcing our drill program. We're currently running a seismic survey over one project, and I think, if we're able to generate some good targets off of that, which are proximal to our good results from the winter, I think that could really generate some excitement ahead of our drilling. But I would look for results throughout August and September as we continue to explore our Ursa project. And importantly, what we always do is, we are an exploration company. Ursa is our top priority, but we've always taken that drill it and kill it mentality. If Ursa is not showing the results we want, we'll move on to our other project. And with that, we always do have a pipeline of targets. So we are generating targets on our Orion project and our Aurora project. So those will be drill ready for early 2025, because I think it is important to remember that at IsoEnergy, it was one of the quickest pathways to success in the history of the Athabasca Basin, but it was our 7th project where we ultimately made that discovery. And so we've always kind of remained agile and remained disciplined to move on from something if it's not yielding the results we're looking for. And I think that's been important in us creating the value that we have over the past, 10 to 15 years here. And so, like I said, we're excited about Ursa. We're excited about the targets coming, but importantly, we always have those pipeline of projects and targets building in the background.
Well, we look forward to you updating us on a regular basis, hopefully with good news. But in the meantime, Keith Bodnarchuk, President and CEO at COSA, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Zach.